All right, welcome back everybody to another edition of Chasing Ghosts. This is the video series I do where I talk about those hard to find, impossible to find books, those things you just don't see at your LCS and rarely see even at shows. Sure, you might be able to find a couple online, but these things are just really, really tough if you're out there looking for these books. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as the rest of the stuff that I have going on the channel. Please make sure you like, you subscribe, you hit that alert button so you don't miss any of the content as it's dropping basically daily these days, if not multiple times a day, with a couple of things coming your way. Let me know what you think in the comments. If there's any ghosts that you would like to see or books that you think are impossible to find, you want me to cover, mention them in the comments section. I've already covered a few of the viewer suggestions, and even though I have a long list, I'm happy to take any more suggestions that you guys might have. So just throw them out at me. I enjoy the engagement and enjoy connecting with you guys in that way. So just hang on for a second, and I'll be right back with the books that we're looking at this week. All right, so let's see what books we got to cover this week. Now, Black Widow came out at the movies, as well as premiere access on Disney Plus at home, depending on how you chose to watch it. Hopefully you did watch it. I thought it was a pretty entertaining flick and figured, you know what? I should probably work a Black Widow book into this concept and into this series. And the book that I chose to go with is Black Widow 6. This is that Kiss or Kill Part 1, the J. Scott Campbell variant edition. I believe this was a 1 in 15, which I realize is not that high of a ratio, but this book is still tough to find. Granted, I've gotten lucky. I luckily found 2 copies of this, both of them for very, very cheap. It's spoiled in that way. I feel a little guilty. But that being said, this book is tough. Tough if you really want to find it, unless you want to pay up for it. Basically, we're looking at a print run of about 18,000 overall, 18,500 thereabouts, and this came out in September of 2010. So with that 1 in 15, that would give us maybe, if we do the ratio math, 1,233 copies out there. Not a tiny number, to be sure, but still not a lot. Like 1,200 copies is not really a lot when you think about it, especially with the way that Marvel exclusives run these days with the store variants. Most of them being 3,000 print run or 1,500 for the Virgin, and everybody runs after them. Like 1,200 for an incentive is pretty tough. And that's not to say that's actually how many were made or that's how many actually made it out, because how many stores actually did order 15 copies. That being said, this Kiss or Kill book is an awesome cover. I love this cover. It's one of the favorite Campbell covers that I own, and yeah, I definitely dig it. If we look over into the census, we can see that there's a few in there. It's 116 total graded, with 71 being 9/8 and 31 9/6s, and then a few randos populated without throughout the rest of the way there. But with that said, we're going to move on from the CGC just to kind of take a look, see what's out there. Like, if you are looking to buy one, what will this run you? Right now, you can pay anywhere from $500 raw to $1,200 raw if you pay the asking prices for buy it now over on eBay right now. And then there's also a CGC SS that's just under $800 as well. So it's not a cheap book. For a 1 in 15, this is not a cheap book. So as I said, while there are a couple copies out there, it's definitely not cheap. And when I looked to see what actually sold, I just found this 198 sold for about $650, and that was the beginning of June. So about a month ago, $650 is what this cost to go over on eBay for this in 9/8. But still, really cool cover. I like this cover. I know it's kind of a silly pose, but hey, it's Black Widow. Black Widow came out this past weekend, and I thought we should at least cover one of her books, and this is the one I picked. But on top of that, what else could we look at as far as interesting, hard to find books go? The next one is also a bit of an anomaly in that it's not an incentive. It's not an exclusive. It's not a ratio. It's not a convention edition or anything like that. this is just basically a B cover for Modern Warfare 2 Ghost, the miniseries from Wildstorm that came out in November 2009. Print run is about, just under 12,000 for this book in total. There was an A cover, there was a 1 in 10 that was like a video game variant as well, but this B cover is the toughest one to find that I've found. Not a lot out there. And as far as what the print run is, no idea. I mean, I believe stores would have had to have chosen to get both covers, and a lot of stores don't do that. A lot of stores, even with DC, when they switched over to doing the A and the B covers, a lot of stores just, no, we're just doing A. They didn't care about the B cover. So I have no idea how many cover Bs of this Jim Lee, awesome Jim Lee art, by the way. And I'm a big Jim Lee fan, so this is one that I had to go make sure that I went and got a copy of it, even though this is pricey and hard to find. That being said, what do we have in the census for this book? Again, 12,000 print run basically, but don't know how many B covers there are. In the census, they're only showing two 9/8s. I don't know if that's right, if that's accurate, but that's what it's showing right now. 2. Not a lot. Not a lot out there. There are a few copies to buy if you wanted to buy one. Anywhere from about $500 to or $120 raw, and there's also a lot of the whole mini-series that includes this variant cover for about $400. So you can see this isn't a cheap book. Not a cheap book at all. What does it sell for? Well, the one that I found that sold was a best offer on an asking price of somewhere just under $700. So I don't know what it actually ended up being, but that's what the only sale result I found over the last 3 months over on eBay for this book. So who knows? Who knows exactly what that how that sale might have been completed or not? But still, not an easy book to find. Definitely not an easy book to find. But a cool one, because again, Jim Lee. The next book I chose is a store exclusive, and one that I am kind of disappointed I didn't get because I dig this cover, and the store that did it is actually kind of close to me. I live outside of Philly. Philly's only about 20 minutes away from me, so I should have been aware to get this book, but I wasn't. And this is the Amalgam Comics. It's like a coffee shop, comic book shop. I haven't had the chance to get over that way yet because, again, it's across the bridge, so it's going to be a hike for me to do it, but it's not that far. It's not an impossible ask for me to go over there. It's just I wish that I would have to get this variant. And this, is the Invincible Iron Man 1. This is an exclusive variant that had Riri as well as the store owner on there, which is really cool. Definitely really cool book. Again, I wish I had one, but I don't. And this thing, not easy to find. Again, this was the Riri Williams as Iron Man at the time run from November of 2016. And as far as how many copies were printed, I got no idea. No idea. There's nothing online that I could find that gave me a solid print run for this book, but it being a store exclusive, I have no idea how many they printed. But I don't think there are that many out there because you don't see it. You don't find it. You just don't. You look over on CGC, 37 copies graded. Ain't a lot. 15 9/8s, 14 9/6s, and a few others to round out that 37. Definitely not a lot of copies graded. You would think that there might be more. Like people would want to get this thing graded because it could do pretty well. What's up there right now? There's 198 that's available. $3,500 asking price. Not cheap. Not cheap at all. And like I said, not easy to find. And a lot of people interested. 30 watchers on this, by the way. So people are keeping an eye on this book to see what happens. And none sold. No copies sold in the last 3 months. So not a lot of data to really compile on this one to give a good sense of how many there are or how easy it is to get. Again, if you want one, there's only that one, and it's pretty expensive. Nothing to compare it to. Definitely a tough book, but like I said, I dig this cover. I think it is definitely a really cool cover, and wish I would have gotten one. But alas, what can you do? Can't have everything. Can't have everything, especially these books, because these books are hard to find and pricey for a reason. Now, for our last book, this is just another oddity, I guess you would say. This is going to be the Spawn 232, the EWU grad special. This was given away to the graduates by Todd McFarlane because he was the guest speaker at his alma mater in, what year did this come out? This was 2013. So he was the guest speaker, and he gave all the graduates a copy of this book, this special book that was made just for them. And you can even see right on the front, this is 1 of 400 copies. So they printed 400 copies, and that was the print run. That's how many are out there. A lot of these have his signature on it because I'm sure he stayed there to sign for, whoever, all the graduates that wanted it. So I think finding one that doesn't have his signature on it is probably going to be tougher than signed ones, personally. That's just what I think. But if we look over in the census, what do we got? There's only 20 copies in the census. Out of those 400, I mean, these were graduates of the college. These weren't comic book collectors. So how many of them didn't survive? How many didn't care? Like, oh, great, I got a comic book. What am I going to do with this? They shoved it in their bag. They threw it in a box. Who knows what happened to these books? But only 4 9/8s, 5 9/6s, and then a few others to round out that 20. And yeah, 20 copies in the census. That's it, of the 400. There was one a while ago listed for sale. I think it was listed for like a couple grand. But right now, none listed. None listed for sale. So you Spawn collectors are going to have a tough time finding this book because there are, again, not that many out there. And I don't think there's a lot of people who do have it are going to want to part with it because there's also none sold in the last 3 months. So definitely an impossible to find book. One of those rarities, one of those tough books for those Spawn collectors, which, they can be a rabid fan base. That being said, pretty cool. Not the best cover, I'll admit that. I'm not in love with this cover, but it is what it is. One can't deny that this is a tough book, a rare book, and one that is probably justifiably this expensive. But, so, we got 4 books. Can we call all of these ghosts? No, I probably can't. I can't. I'll admit it. When I was covering, a couple of these, as much as I wanted to, they're hard to find. But these two, the Black Widow, 1 in 15 variant, there's 1,200 available, potentially a few out there, just like the Ghost Modern Warfare. It's just a B cover, so that print run could be high for all I know. We just may not be seeing how many copies are out there. I don't know how many copies there are for that one, so considering the print runs could be a little bit higher on these, and there are copies available for people to scoop up of these, I'm going to call these hard to find. Not going to call these 2 ghosts. I will make that call and say these 2 are hard to find. But the Iron Man and the Spawn, however, these things are really, really tough. And I've been looking at these for a little while. Not a lot come up and not a lot move. So I will give them the ghost qualification because these really are that hard to find, I think. Personally, at least that's what I found in my research and my tracking of these 2 books. I'd call them both ghosts. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking in. As I said, I got a long list of books, but I'm always open to suggestions for some new ones. So let me know what you might want to see, what you think is an impossible book to find, or one that you have and you kind of want to show it off. Definitely, if you have any of these books, tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see it. If there's other tough books, Martian, I'm talking to you. You seem to have many of these ghosts that I mentioned and others that I do not haven't mentioned yet, but I have them on my list. Tag me. Let me see them. I love seeing this stuff. I'm very interested. That being said, thanks again. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Let's keep this subscriber count going up. We're already more than halfway to the next giveaway. I just gave away a book last week, or I should say a few books last week with my 700 subscriber giveaway. We're already more than halfway to 800. I already started putting stuff aside, planning out what I'm going to give away next, and I think you guys will enjoy it. I'm going to put up 2 packs. You guys will decide which one goes into the pile for the prize, and the other pack's going to go into the 1,000 subscriber giveaway that will hopefully happen sooner rather than later. So again, tell your friends. If you're enjoying this, let them know. Let's all have fun, and let's all start talking about comics because, comics should be fun after all, right? Later.